Oh, yeah. Happy Wednesday, Steve. Oh, yeah. Good stuff here today. Let's see. We got to make sure we're straight on the camera. Yeah. Yeah, we had a thunderstorm here every day. We haven't today. But last week, and it knocked the power out for a while. Yes, yes. Thank you. Very timely, very timely. And in doing so, it knocked the IP address out of my PTZ Optics 4K camera, which is interesting because that's kind of always been a thing. And so it went back to the default IP address, which was 192.168.100.88, and my network is 192.168.1. I think this camera was 102. But when I opened my preset where this camera is attached via NDI, it was still there and active, but I couldn't connect to it for PTZ control. Kind of curious. So it worked okay for NDI, and the PTZ control is over IP. Of course, it's, I think, what is it, Visca over IP or Sony Visca over IP? One of the two. PTZ control. Yeah, Sony Visca over IP. And of course, it won't connect because it's not on the same network. I can try to connect, but it errors out. So I had to use the good old handheld remote to adjust the camera to me today. An interesting thing, this handheld remote goes to a Gen 1 PTZ Optics camera that I had 500 years ago. Don't know what happened to the camera, but I still have the remote. So, yeah. And, I love the fact that they're supporting the legacy functions on the remote. So it's got long legs in that sense. Yeah, boy, we're set up here in the studio with a battery backup on the PC and on the network, the modem and the router and the switch. So I can still do my thing for up to, 12 minutes or 18 minutes or however long the power will last on the battery. But beyond that, it's not going to happen. And it's gone out twice that it's exceeded the battery life. And so I'll come into the studio and the system will be off. Generally, I'll leave it on 24/7. Don't tell anybody. But I'll leave it on 24/7 so that I can remote into it and make changes from wherever. And I've done some remote broadcasts where I've been, another part of the country and done a vMix call into this PC and then controlled this PC remotely. So yeah. So that's good. I mean, you can do almost anything from almost anywhere these days. You just never know. So it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. It's cool and it's fun and it's versatile and flexible. I'm going to be doing some traveling this fall and some extended trips. And I think I'll be able to do everything I need to remotely as long as I can get internet access wherever I am. That's the thing. So assuming that I can do that, where is that camera? Oh, hold on a second. I think I've lost a camera. That's that one. Can I put it back in? Camera. Yeah. Let's just try that. No audio device. I think I think the lightning got me. And may have fried. Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. May have fried what would you call it? A powered USB hub. Of all crazy things to fry, it fried that. So yeah. So what I found was that everything I wanted to kind of play with and use that was plugged into that hub was no longer functional. That includes X keys and um, good old Logitech C920 cameras. And at first I thought the camera had just finally died. And, you know, hey, Joe, good looking picture. But it wasn't the camera, it was the hub. So I need to see if it's still viable. And if it is, how we can get it back in service. And if it's not, we need to replace it. Because it's a pretty important part of the workflow to have the X keys working. And I've got the X keys connected now, but it's connected just directly to the PC via a long extension cable. So yeah, so there we go. Hello, Joe. What do you know? Let's see. We can take that out. We don't need any audio on that website. That's good. Okay, good. Let's save this. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of make a habit of saving my presets, especially while I'm developing it. Go ahead and send it to the drive to be saved, so that you know, if there's a power outage or something that blows my battery or any stupid thing, I've got it lately saved. IBC. No. Boy, I wish. You know what? I think I let that. I've got some travel planned in the US this fall, and I think I just didn't have IBC on my calendar. Is it in September or November? I know it has been both. I don't know that I would want to be in Amsterdam in November, but September would be okay. But I've got 2 big trips already planned in September. I'm toying with the idea of kind of doing a roadshow kind of thing, and either doing some, well, three things that come to mind. One is doing some meetups around the country, and probably not making it to New Zealand yet, Chris, but working on it. Do some meetups around the country, maybe do some vMix, some live vMix training, where people can come in from wherever they are and get a day's worth of training on vMix. Or doing some, what would you call it? Promos or demos or that kind of thing. September, says Joe. That's right. Oh yes, November never happened because it was canceled. That's right. Good memory. Good memory. I do want to put NAB on my calendar. I gotta remember to do that because I missed last year. I had a grandson born. Yeah, that was the fun part. And so we wanted to be around for that. And it was a tricky pregnancy. It was a high risk pregnancy. In fact, my daughter-in-law went in for the doctor's appointment on a Friday morning. And the doctor said, yeah, we had been talking about whether we would induce labor or let you go into labor naturally, or go home and get your pajamas and meet me back in the hospital in 3 hours. We're having that baby today. C-section, emergency C-section, because the baby was beginning to get in a bad situation. I don't remember the details. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it was a successful delivery, and he's a wonderful, healthy, bouncing boy, and mama's doing great, and life is good. Life is good. Yeah, NAB is a trip. Of course, IBC is a trip too. Having only been to IBC the one time, it was a real treat. And it was more, I think IBC was more intimate than NAB. The booths were significantly smaller. The show, I don't know if the show space was smaller, but there was a collection of 8 or 10 buildings that were all connected. And so you moved from building to building. And it was a little bit more like the trade shows here in Fairhope, Alabama, of people setting up a table and having a backdrop and a front drop. Not that some of our favorites did that, but yeah. But NAB is just, NAB is Hollywood. NAB is all about Hollywood. All right, well, we're going to get this show going, but I've tested my X-Keys XK80, and all the buttons are working because it's connected to a USB port that gives it power and does all that stuff the way it should. So we got, I think they're working right. Let's see, we're gonna experiment and find out and see what we can see. But yeah, let's see what we got here. Can we start on time? Why not? How about that? It's working. It's working. Yay. Right. Cool, Jude. Yes, we were experimenting. Trying to make sure this is all going to work. So I'm really excited today about this X-Keys. We've been doing work with X-Keys off and on for ever. I can't tell you how far back our relationship with X-Keys goes. I'm going to work on getting something that I forgot to set up, getting it set up just in 1 second while I'm talking. But we've always loved X-Keys. It is a great organization, and we've always enjoyed our friends at X-Keys. Yeah, that's not going to work. Well, that'll work. That'll hunt, as they say. That'll hunt. And so yeah. So we want to talk about X-Keys. And one more thing I've got to get straight here. Hold on a second. I'm such an idiot. Such an idiot. Yes. 1 sec. Here we go. We're getting ready. What can we do? We can do right there. That'll be perfect. Okay. So what we've got here is an X-Keys XKE 128 with the video switcher set. And while I talk about it, I thought we'd go ahead and do it. Now, Joe has got some massive earth-shattering news at IBC. So we'll just have to wait until then. He's given us a hint. So stick around for September for IBC for Joe's earth-shattering news. And Eric is here so we can finally get started. Okay. So yeah, we have to be careful about that because we don't want to, maybe we better unplug this guy. Maybe we better unplug this guy. Hold on a second. Let's unplug him. Make sure we're unplugging the right one. There we go. Okay, we were going to live dangerously, and now we're not going to live dangerously anymore. So, there you go. All right. Assuming that we are still back, that we are now back, let's go and see what we can do with our new needle nose pliers. So we're just going to grab that guy in the center, then gently pull, and out comes the little insert that fits in the hole. Now we didn't need to pull that one out, but we'll put something back in its place. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and pull off all the other keycaps that we need to have come off. We can pull out in fact, we can pull out every single one, and it's pretty cool the way it just pops right in. There's a kind of a hole in the shape of a cross here, and then there's the positive of a cross there, and so the keycap just pops right out. But even better than that, the top of this thing just pops right off. So you end up with two pieces, and you can put your own label underneath it. But in our case, we're going to use pre-printed labels, so it'll be even better. So let's go ahead and get all these nasties off. They aren't really nasty. So one of the cool things about X keys, which frankly I really don't care about, but it's that X keys is used in all sorts of industries. In fact, there is even a whole series of X keys to be used with model trains. How about that? And so there's a specific a controller that you can plug in that will control the train forward, backward motion, speed. Really pretty, excuse me, really pretty cool. And it's a great example of taking a tool set, that is the X keys, and finding a different industry that needs the same type of controls for whatever you might be doing in that situation. So I love that. I love being able to take a tool set that you've spent time and energy developing and boom, reuse that some other place. The very first time I saw this keyboard, it was sent to me, well, not this specific keyboard, but this model, the XKE128, which is, we're going to convert into a 124 video switcher. Sorry, this is the 124. We're going to convert it into a video switcher. There is actually a 128 that doesn't have the T-bar on it. It just has all of the buttons. So that's pretty cool. The first time I saw the one with the T-bar, though, Dan Slider, formerly of X Keys, now as full-time grandpa, sent me one, and it was the coolest deal. And I had never seen anything quite like it, in that sense that I didn't come from a video background. I know that's going to come as a surprise to so many of you that I don't have any professional video experience, but that wasn't my background. And so to get something like this to play with, and I thought it was absurdly expensive at the time. And then that was because, I didn't understand the value of having the right kind of gear. And I thought virtually any keyboard toy would do. But then to get something like this, based on an aluminum chassis, it's going to be extremely durable. It's going to last and last and last. And the keys are intended to last. Whereas some of the other things that you can get for, $100 or less, this guy's $900. For $100 or less, they're going to be as good as they're going to be until until they break, and then that's it. They're in the trash. And don't, heaven forbid, don't drop them on the floor, because they will bounce or not bounce. They may just burst into 1,000 pieces. We could try a drop on this one, but this one's heading for a client at some point, so we probably shouldn't drop it. Even if we just want to test it, make sure it'll survive for them, we still don't want to drop it. So we've just about gotten all of the extra keys off this keyboard. As you can see, it takes a couple of minutes. The keycaps, which is the part we're pulling off right now, the keycaps are fairly easy to get out. There we go. We've got them all out. So we'll put our little puller aside. We've made a mess here of the desktop, but that's okay. And now we can see from our diagram. In fact, let me just throw this diagram up there because it's a little better. That we've got 2 rows across the bottom, and then a blank row, and then 2 more rows, and then a blank row, and then 2 more rows, but not total rows. So we'll just go ahead and start pulling out the center cores so that it looks like that. So we're gonna pull out these 12 right here. 2, 3, 4. We also have one of the latest from X-Keys, which is the XKE 14 with a T-bar. And TJ Thompson, among others, has envisioned this as sort of a mini replay machine, with the T-bar being the speed control. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's take out that one right there. There we go. And anyway, we're selling a bunch of them. And envision, we've got a portable replay machine that we're developing right now, and see that that's going to really work well in that setup. All right, so we've got that row blanked out, and actually it should blank out all the way to the end. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So these 2 come out right here and right here. In fact, that can come out all the way up to the top, it looks like. We've got 2. And 2. All right. So let's depopulate those right there. If you've ever been to NAB or IBC for that matter, and seen the X-Keys booth, they've actually, and if you haven't, you definitely want to get by there. They've got a miniature studio. I mean, just like characters like this big, like little Lego guys, I guess. And it's a whole live studio, and they're using vMix to switch, or to produce, and X-Keys to switch, of course. And it's really, really pretty sharp, pretty interesting, pretty fun. It's really, and that's obviously somebody that likes trains has done that. All right, so we've got that one all the way across to there. That's a key that stays. But these come out. And then let's see. Right there at the top of the cube, these 2 come out, and then those 4 stay in. And the way they'll go in, we can go ahead and pop those in there. Well, no, we can't. We got to put the overlay on first. All right, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. But we don't need any of those. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that one comes out. And that one comes out. 1, 2, 3. That one comes out. And that one comes out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay that in there. And you see that's where it's going to block out the light. Let's see if we can get that little guy back in there, right there. Sometimes getting them in is not as easy as pulling them out. In that case, it was. All right, so we these have got, I don't know if you can see, but they've got little slots. Let me get this up close to the camera. Yeah, you can see the little slots there where supposedly some of these blockers will fit through. But my experience has been that they don't fit through very easily. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut out the strips with scissors to make it work. And we had scissors here a minute ago. Did we lose our scissors? Be right back with the scissors. It's like a craft project. And when you get done, you have really cool stuff that you've done. All right, so we're going to cut off and have 2 rows here. So we're just going to cut it right down the middle. There we go. And that's going to cover that. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we need a square at the end. We'll come back and get that. Now we make another row. So we'll take that. Now, if you're going to get these, I'm probably spoiling all the fun because you would want to get them on yourself. And then we've got a 2x4. So we're going to go. And then a 4. So that's going to go there. And then we've got a 2x6. Actually, we've got 2 2x6s. So let's make that there. You can see it's beginning to come together nicely. Don't need that. And then we need a couple of 2x2s. Finish out that side. There we go. And then, what is that, a 2x4 there? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2x4 there. And then a 2 by 1, and then a 1. So look at that. We end up with 1 piece left over. There we go. So we're beginning to look a little bit like our keyboard. So now we just get to populate with buttons. So let's get that out of the way. Let's get some of these keys out of the way. We laid out everything so nicely earlier. And we'll go ahead and get our white buttons, M1. That's just going to place on there, mash down, and it's good. And we'll get M5 that goes right below it. There we go. And then we'll put in a blocker just so we can get the feel for it. The blocker is going to go right there. And then we're going to get an orange 1. Now vMix has already got, and then a blue 1. vMix has already got shortcuts set up for this. You'll have to adjust them because it's set up for 12 cameras. But it should be pretty easy to get that configured. Oh, we're going to do a blocker first. There we go. And a 1, and then a green 1. So we end up with preview and program and overlays and videos, and then keys that you can program yourself. So let's go with the M2. These keys are slippery. They just came out of the printer. I didn't print them here, but I'm sure they did at X Keys. This was kind of a special order. They zipped it down to me. It's for a really good client out in Texas. Okay. So you get the idea as we go through here. Bluetooth. Now, some of you may say, you know, Tom, why don't you just take them all the way across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And I could. And I probably would have if you weren't watching. But I decided to build them up to down as opposed to left to right. So there we go. So we're getting that filled in, and it's beginning to look a little bit like that. So let's go over here and we'll put on our take button. And that's a double plunge, so we got to make sure it goes all the way down easily. And then we've got an auto 3, so we can set that up for a merge or a fade. Auto 2 could be a barn door. Auto 1 could be a roller door. Those are two of the new vMix. Transitions. And then this is going to be a fade to black here. And a STM. STM. Anybody know what STM stands for? STM right there. That's right. Stream. There we go. And then we have a bunch of blanks that we can use to fill in the gaps there. And each one of the keys, whether it has a plunger in it or not, has two lights below it, a red and a green. And so together, that can make a purple. So it makes a third light. The new one, this guy has got LEDs, so it can be almost any color you want. And I'm sure they'll be adapting the others over when they have a chance to tool them up. Okay, we're rocking along. My idea was that I would finish this in the course of a show, and we'll see if we can do that. I wonder if anybody set the world record for the fastest retooling of an X Keys device. What I love about vMix is, well, I love lots of things about vMix, but one of the things I love about X Keys is that it works so easily with vMix. It executes the shortcuts, and you can stack as many shortcuts up as you want. It will execute the T-bar function. If this had a jog shuttle on it, it would be able to execute the jog shuttle function, because those are all built in as shortcuts in vMix. And the X Keys folks were smart enough, when the time was, whenever that time was, to make sure that vMix got a copy of the X Keys early on, so they could configure their shortcuts appropriately. So yeah, it was a marriage made in heaven, shall we say. So hopefully that collaboration will continue it well into the future. So we're getting it there. We're getting it there. Remember, this is what we want to look like right here. And we're getting closer and closer. Let's get some more blanks in here. Some spacers, some cover-uppers, if you will. And the fact that we didn't have to pull any of the plungers makes this job of reconfiguring so much easier, because inserting new plungers is probably the trickiest part. the part that I enjoy the least, as it were. We'll put a 5 in, and then a 4 in, and a 2 in, and I'm actually working left-handed, not as a lefty, and not really on purpose. It just sort of ended up that way. And a 9. And the 9, of course, can be a 6 if you turn it wrong ways up, which I have already done. These are a different kind of keys than we've used in the past. They are not as clear on the bottom. And I think maybe that helps the lighting disperse and make it more colorful. So let's get this guy. We've got 3 minutes and 24 seconds to finish. And we can say we finished all in a show. Oh, here I go. I have a whole line almost, except that one. We'll have to come back to that. So a 3 and a 4. There's a whole X Keys line that you can see at xkeys.com. And by the way, the proper spelling and configuration of X Keys is capital X dash lowercase keys. Not to be confused with vMix, which is lowercase v, capital M, lowercase ix. So just so you'll know, if there's ever a question about how to spell vMix, it's with a lowercase v, and X Keys is with an uppercase X. So yeah, I see a lot of really experienced folks misspelling these trade names. And I think, why are they not paying attention to the details? Because people in video production tend to be very detail oriented. And you'd think they would notice little things like X Keys with a capital X, but not a capital K, or X Keys with a hyphen between the X and the K. Don't miss out on that. There we go. We're getting close here, folks. Only got 1:37 left. But we're going to make it. We're going to make it. Well, I don't know if we're going to make it or not. But... All right, that's all of those. So let's see if we can get these going here. Oh, yeah. What was it? I was watching something the other day, and somebody was giving dialogue as they were working. It was a YouTube show. And I thought, you know, that's kind of nice to have that kind of conversation going on while they're working. And then periodically they would get to a hard part, and they would have to stop and shut their mouth for a minute so that they could make sure that they were doing it right, because there was nothing worse than doing it wrong. Let's see, 4 is there. So like, I was just going to put the 4 in the wrong place. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting there. Only one more row to finish right here. So we've got 18 seconds left. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. If I had done it right-handed, it might have been better. 10 seconds according to the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out of time. 3 buttons left. We almost did it in the time allotted for the show. There we go. How do we look? Does that look like this? I believe it does. Look at that. It's like a mirror image. Well, it's like an actual image. Yeah, there we go. All right. So let's hook it up. I don't know that this will work, but let's try it. All right, so we've got it hooked up. The little green light came on. Green light's on right here. So the keyboard is a keyboard. I'm going to hit the cut button and let's see what happens. There we go. We got a cut. So that's good. So let's cut back. Let's try the T-bar and see. Last time we did the T-bar, it cut the stream. So maybe I'm not going to be so happy with that. Let's go preview camera 2. There we go. Let's go preview camera 1. That's good. So there's camera 1 right there. We're going to preview. Let's preview 3. And then we'll cut to 3. That's the X keys. Preview 4, cut to 4. There we go. We're good. 5, cut to 5. Now that's just a graphic, but that's okay. And we can go straight to camera 2 just by hitting the red button. So let's try. Oh, I don't want to mess things up. All right, let's see. So anyway, so there it is. So there, it's a great little switcher. The M1 through M8 buttons up here, you can use for anything you want. You've got in and out and left, right, up, down buttons here, which could work for pan tilt zoom, could work for replay. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons here in black, and those could be used again for anything you want. We've talked about the take and the other transition buttons here, the fade to black. Let's see if fade to black works. Yeah, that worked. And then we've got record and stream. And if I press the record button, we're recording. All right, press it again, it stops recording. Not going to press the stream button because I don't want to do that. Everything seems to be working. Let's try the T-bar, shall we? Last time we did it, I think it must have accidentally dropped the stream, but we'll try. No, look at that, the T-bars. All right, so we're going to put number 4 in preview, which is another shot of the desktop. So we'll go there and there. And look at that, it even moves me back and forth. How sweet is that? That's good. That's good. Hey, hey, hey. Loving it. Loving it. Now, I don't have a button for, let's go, let's see. If I do this, is this going to be a cut to camera 1? Yes, that's a cut to camera 1. Okay. All right. So that's it. We did it. We built the whole thing in less than half an hour. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Those are available on my website. Right there. We'll get you the information page on it. If you need more information, if you want to chat about this X key or any X keys, we'd love to do that. Love X keys. And frankly, it's very durable / professional way to go. It's not a toy. It's not something made out of plastic for $89 that may or may not work into the future. And it connects to vMix via USB, USB 2, doesn't require USB 3. And there we go. All right, so let's hit the button on my X keys XK80 so we can go to the post show. Stick around. Well, alrighty then. So that was fun. That was fun. thanks for hanging around with. I know it was probably bloody boring, but it was fun to do. Fun to do. Jan says he brought the XKE 14T bar. Ta-da. To the studio in his HQ office. His student producers absolutely love it. Yeah, I had somebody call up the other day and bought they bought 4 of them. Yeah, they bought 4 of them. You just have to jiggle the plungers a little bit when you put them in or pull them out. Violence is not always the answer. Well, that's you. That's you. And Eric gets the award for the stream. Very good. Very good. You know what the award is, don't you, Eric? You get one of these. Yes, sir. Actually, you can have the whole bag. What do you do with those extras? Well, you know what you do. You put them back in the box. You put the box back in the closet in case you ever need to reconfigure the keyboard. Now, this keyboard, as we have set it up, is completely reconfigurable physically, and then we go into vMix and we change the shortcuts, which you're probably going to change anyway. But it's the shortcuts that are built into vMix for this device are based on a 12 camera shoot. So there you go. Clint says it looks like the one that he used at Briar Fest. Yeah. Eric says he's got 1 or 2. Oh, you're talking about these, not the keyboard. Good, good. All right, very good. We don't have the dates yet, and I've been promising this forever, but we are getting really close to coming up with the next vMix 101 class. So if you've taken them in the back, Eric says he's got 100 of these. 100 of these. And how many of these? Yeah. How many of these? Yeah. Do you have any of, well, I guess that's all there was. Oh, yeah. How many of these? Ooh. The next vMix 101 class is either going to start in September or October. It's a 6-week class and goes through vMix head to toe. Intended for the novice user, but a lot of intermediate folks find out that they learn things they didn't already know. So yeah. So let's see. Steven says, can you set it up to push 2 buttons for an action? Example, the first button would be an input number, and the second would be an overlay. Yes. I'd have to think it through. I know you would use a dynamic overlay for that as a shortcut, and then there would have to be a way to do the input number. Yeah. And it may be the kind of thing that might require, I'd have to think it through. I think I've done something like that before, Steve, but it's been a while. Eric has he's got a whole toolbox just set aside with X key devices and attachments and accessories. I love it. So overlays 1 through 4. Yeah, I'd have to see how that would work. That would be interesting. I think currently it's set for, well, let's see. If I press the 1 on the blue keyboard, does that become an overlay? That's a preview overlay. Okay, and I'll take it off. And then if I go 2, Yeah, not sure what's overlaying there. It may be a blank overlay. And Eric says, I really do have a toolbox with XKeys devices in it. Yep. Like to hang on to these. You know, these are really handy when you're reconfiguring and you want to block out the space. Yep. What I want vMix to do with XKeys, they're going to have to get their heads together on this one, is to dedicate a button that allows you to have a second layer of commands beneath the first layer. Now, the XKeys, and I think all of them work this way. You notice here, and can I get it up there? Let's pull it around just a little bit further. There we go. In the top right-hand corner of the XKeys, right there, are two lights. Now you can't see it because it's green. The green screen is making it black. But there are two lights there, and the top light indicates the keyboard is on. And I would like that to indicate not only is the keyboard on, but that's the first layer. And if you mash a particular button or a particular set of buttons, you could go to the second layer. Yeah. All right, and Jan says that Steve, this is an answer to your question. Button 1 sets the value of the variable. Button 2 makes the transition. There you go. There you go. But he's not saying how to make two layers on your keyboard. If you are, I want to know, because I don't know. I don't know that it's even possible, but if it were, I would like to know. So yeah. Motorcycle. Did you hear the motorcycle? We've worked a little bit more with the soundproofing today, and we've actually put some soundproofing in our glass front door, which I think might help some of that street noise. So we will see. We will see. So coming up this fall will be vMix 101 class, for beginners, for novices, but also would benefit to intermediate users. And then we'll be introducing our portable replay PC. And you can do the same thing with a really high-powered laptop. I think the key is going to be to have something like this that's really portable, fits in your backpack, and would allow you then to set up a replay station pretty easily. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a Maggie question if you're talking about on the layers. And I think that has been suggested before. And I think the suggestion was that it needed to be some collaboration between vMix and XKeys. But I'll ask again. Maybe I can get somebody from XKeys and somebody from vMix on the same email, and we can figure out if it's a reasonably doable project. I mean, most any project is doable, but the question is, will it be beneficial? Will it be expensive to do? And will there be enough people that will appreciate it to make it worthwhile? Yep. Just because you and I might appreciate it doesn't mean a significant amount of the audience would, although I don't know why they wouldn't. Yeah, there you go. I've got a client that has used the XK128, which is this keyboard, but with just all keys. There we go. That's what I meant to do. And so this entire keyboard would be just all keys, just all these little keys right here, or custom keys. But yeah, yep. Let's see, where were we? We were here. So 2-layer not working directly as that is done in XK firmware, but vMix reads it directly. Yeah, there you go. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. To do multi-layer, get Joe's awesome central control. No way. Really? Jan, you've been holding out on me, dude. All right. I tell you what, someday soon, sir, when it is evening time for you, which will be afternoon time for me, I would love to get on a vMix call or some such with you and talk about that. Maybe next week. Maybe next week. I'll shoot you an email. I'll shoot you an email. Yeah. Potential spam. Don't need that. All right. Well, boys and girls, we are going to wrap up this little show. I think Joe has flown the coop. I think when he saw that we were just building an X keys, he was like, oh, I've done that before. I've seen that. How exciting could that be? But we need to get Joe back on the show too, because he's got, I think, a new version of Central Control out, as well as some other toys he's been working on. So we'll do that. We will do that. Well, guys, loved hanging out with you. But I got to go hang out with somebody else. My lovely spouse, Sandra. Yes, yes. But I will catch you guys next week. Appreciate you. Take care. Have a great week and weekend. Bye now. Oh, Jan said in Central Control, you can do more than 2 layers. How cool is that?